Hello and welcome to Leave House, Head Home. My name is Shiloh Zilberberg, and I'm going to take you guys along the journey of my family and I making Aliyah and heading to Eretz Yisrael. So we made the channel now, before we're there, to highlight and showcase what it actually takes to get there. I know there are a lot of channels where people get to Israel, they're inspired, and they want to show the land and show the journey, which is beautiful, and I think they should. But I think showing the what it takes to get there before, the stresses, the hurdles, the excitement, the process, could be super helpful, and a lot of people have asked. So I want to start a little bit with a little bit of our story, how my wife and I got to the point where we are, on our way. So let's take it back about 3.5 years ago. I was feeling a little bit on fire to move. I had made up in my mind that I think we should live in Israel. I think we should head there. And so what I did was I brought it up to my wife. I said, hey, I think we should move to Israel. And she said, hey, I don't think we should. So I said okay, and I continued on. I was davening for it, but I had this passion, so I was going to keep going. And I asked her a few more times, why not? Would you ever want to? Can we, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Could we put something on the calendar? But the answer was no. So I, kept pestering her, and we got to the point where she told me, look, I don't have any, good connection with Israel. I went for seminary, didn't have the best experience. I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to leave my family. I don't want to leave our jobs and our security here. So there's no real reason for me to go. And don't bring it up again. Don't talk about it. I'm not interested. So that was hard for me. But I told her, look, I know we're gonna end up living in Israel. It's just a matter of time. I won't bring it up again, but I'm just telling you, we're gonna live in Israel. And it was hard for me to keep it under wraps because, as I said, I was on fire at the time, passionate about wanting to move. So I had to kind of tone it down, and it was hard to be patient, but I did my best, and slowly the fire was extinguished, and I just went back to the normal routine of things, here and there davening that we can, visit and hopefully move there someday. Fast forward 3.5 years of leaving the topic off the table. I had more or less forgotten about it, just carrying on with our lives. But a couple of events happened. You had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The anti-Semitic climate online was getting worse and worse, to the point where my wife made a comment of, if she would move somewhere, she would want to move to Israel. So that definitely, I was like, okay, I'm listening, but I didn't push it or bring it up. I just let it sit. A couple weeks later, it was coming time for Sukkot, and we decided 2 weeks before that we're gonna make the trip with my family. I have 3 kids, 3 daughters, and we're gonna head to Israel for Sukkot. And I was like, okay, amazing. Maybe we'll feel it out there, kind of like pilot trip situation. And my wife was open, but it wasn't something we were discussing much. So we get to Israel. We're having an amazing time. We're hustling. We're traveling around. We're hitchhiking. We're taking cabs, buses, checking out different places with all the kids, and it was an incredible trip. And in the middle of the trip, my wife said, "I think I want to move here." So I said, "Okay, great." But again, I just let it sit because I didn't want to go get all passionate about it. And she said, and she feels different here. She feels at home. Her reasons were she feels more spirituality. She feels that the priorities there are different. It's less materialistic. She thinks the kids would just have a better life there. And it's the Jewish homeland, and she feels safer there, in fact, even though it's a country that's constantly at war. So for me, my reasoning was a little different, but I do agree with all of her reasons, and then I have a whole other side to it. So I played it cool, but as we, got to the end of the trip and made it home, I said, I think we should apply with Nefesh B'Nefesh. We should start getting a move on, maybe let's move before the next school year. So I started setting these, you know, taking more practical steps. And she was kind of like, oh, what did I get myself into? And there were a few times where, she got real cold feet and was like, oh, we're leaving our house, we're selling this, we don't have jobs, how are the kids going to learn the language? And all the practical, reasonable, realistic fears would hit, and I would just try to, calm her down. And it's tough. It's tough for her having those fears, and it's tough for me having to deal with them. But, it's part of being married, and I want my whole family to be on board. And thank God the kids are super excited as well. So that takes us to why I want to move. So for me, as I maybe alluded to a little bit before, it's more connected to the Geula, the destiny of the Jewish people, the Torah, and the prophecies of what's to come. So for me, I believe that Mashiach's going to come. We're going to need to rebuild the Beis HaMikdash. The Jews are going to ingather to Eretz Yisrael, and we're going to have, amazing, time of prosperity, world peace, etc. Just like most of us believe. Some of us, believe it in real life and want to go make it happen, and other people believe it, in concept and theory, or when in that future date, then we'll get involved. So I didn't want to sit on the sidelines. I don't want to watch it from a TV screen at home. I'd rather be on the court, making it happen. So I don't know exactly what role I'll play, but I'm here for it, and that's a big part of why I want to move. Of course, also the safety, the camaraderie, the love, the achdus that goes on in Israel is next level. The holy sites, and the list goes on and on for me. We'll get to a longer list in another episode. So that's our story, and it really went from a no, don't bring it up again ever, to it coming from her 3.5 years later saying, hey, I think we should move to Israel. So if you're in that situation where maybe you're passionate about moving and your spouse isn't, certainly don't give up hope. You can daven for it. Anything can happen. And comment below if you have a desire or a goal or a dream to move to Israel, and what's your biggest why? What's the reason you would like to head to the Holy Land? So you can also check out our Instagram page and follow us there. My wife runs that. It's Leave House, Head Home, one word. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, leave your house and head home to Eretz Yisrael. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.